Ernest Session. My title is CEO of Session and Coca Insurance Services, LLC. I'm also a CFO and a founding partner in Session and Associates, LLC. We provide services in the area of property insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care, investments, 401ks. We help people to roll over their 401ks. Basically what we do is we help people to manage their everyday risks. I started my business in August of 1989. I think my business serves as a beneficial need in a quiet way that a lot of people don't realize. We provide, again, protection for the assets that people have, their homes, their life, their ability to make a living, their disability. We protect their retirement as well. And we're there when people need us the most. I was inspired to become an entrepreneur almost by accident. I actually grew up with a father who was what we call a gypsy cab driver in Brooklyn, New York. And I rode in that cab with him quite often. And as a young kid, I realized that if you treated people well, they would give you tips and they would pay you. That's actually translated into me working at grocery stores for myself, making money as a youth in Brooklyn. My sons grew up in the business. They were with me a lot of the times when I did business expos. They were with me a lot of the times when I was in the office. They experienced what I experienced on a regular basis. They saw me dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis. I laugh and I jokingly say that they were kissing babies and shaking hands at a very young age. They would go to a business expo. They actually were wearing their suits. I don't know if they even remember that at the business expo. And it was always my vision, my dream to have them as part of the business because I'm a firm believer in legacy. So with that in mind, my wife and I, we sent them to college. They got their educations. And I was very hopeful that they would come into the business, but I also knew that they had to grow and become their own men. So they went out and they began to work in the world, and it was always still my dream that they would come back and work for me. But at some point, I really thought it wouldn't happen. And then all of a sudden, in the last 8 to 9 months, things just began to come together. And I guess they've realized what it's like out there in the corporate world, corporate America. They saw me in their growing up, in their youth. They saw me with the flexibility, the ability to travel, the exposure to a lot of different things and places that we had. And I think that was something, a seed that was planted in their hearts. And I always knew that eventually they would desire to have that same thing for themselves.
My name is Michael Session. I currently work for AllState Session and Associates, LLC, located here in Columbia, South Carolina. My actual job title would be the Director of Sales or the Sales Manager within the organization. And my father is actually Ernest Session, who also plays a vital role in the managing aspects of the business. Essentially, my primary focus is new client acquisition. So just placing a heavy emphasis on actually writing the new business and also coming up with marketing schemes that are going to help us continue that flow of new customers on a regular basis.
My name is Kendall Session. I work with AllState Session and Associates. My dad is Ernest Session, and I'm the agency principal of AllState Session and Associates. With this new business venture, my particular role is basically handling the customer service and basically any of the day-to-day operations of the business. My main focus has always been customer retention and making sure I'm building relationships with my customers. So it's been an easy transition, just getting to know the book of business that we purchased and being able to interact with those clients and being able to help them from day to day.
My father has always made it known that he wanted his sons to be a part of his business at some point. And honestly, it did take going out into industry and working in positions for other people for me to realize that I actually wanted to come back and do something like this. So I decided to make a strategic move. I actually kind of called my father up and let him know what was going on, let him know that I essentially wanted to move back home and come work for him. So I let him know I felt like this was a move that I felt like maybe God was leading me to do. And I believe him and my mother agreed, so I essentially made the move back home. I began working for him on January 1st, 2015, after acquiring my insurance licenses over the Christmas break.
Growing up, my father had always been in insurance since the time I was born. So I grew up in the agency. I grew up around different AllState professionals, different business professionals in the community. And my dad always wanted and had a vision for his sons to actually take over his business one day. Being, of course, rebellious and young, I always, gave him grief and always told him no, that insurance was boring and that's just not something that I wanted to do. But then, of course, as I got out of college and I started working out in the real world, I got a chance to experience corporate America and see exactly how it was structured. I wasn't too fond of, always being told what to do. Not that I have a problem with authority, but I just am a leader.
I think that the educational background that I have allows me an advanced understanding of insurance concepts that most people really don't have. And I'm able to take that knowledge and relay it to people like myself in layman terms. And I'm able to essentially just help them make the best decisions in regards to protecting themselves. So, I think that my education plays a vital role in that aspect.
While I was out in corporate America, I got a chance to get some experience in management, and I got a little bit of experience in sales, a little bit of experience in operations here and there. But being a part of this agency, it basically allowed me to tie it all together. So I'm actually able to utilize all of my skills that I've learned out in the workforce for the past 5 years and be able to apply it and use it better to actually grow this business even more than what it started out to be.
By expanding our business into Columbia, South Carolina, we really expect to see a great deal of growth. There's a lot more opportunity in the Columbia market than there is the Sumter market. The area which we've located our business in Columbia, which is off of Two Notch Road, right down this road from Sand Hills Mall. It's a high growth area. My expectation would be that my sons would take this business to the next level. I believe that, one generation starts something and they build the foundation, and the next generation takes and builds upon that. These guys are educated, they're young, they're enthusiastic, and they're energetic. And so I expect them to really do twice as much as what I did in the business, maybe even potentially more.
My main goals for the business are to make sure that I continue to grow with my family. That's first and foremost, and then also being able to give back to the community, being able to provide a positive role model for young African Americans and other minorities that may look up to people that are able to run their own businesses.
I would like to see us grow to a multi-million-dollar organization. I would like to have multiple office locations, and I would like to have a lot of people working for us. I want to be able to pay my people a great living salary. I want to be able to give them benefits one day. I also want to get to a position where I can attain financial freedom for myself.
I had a vision. I had a vision for where I could be in the future. And I believe you have to make a sacrifice to get where you want. So sometimes you have to give up what you want now to sacrifice so that you can get what you desire in the future. So we stepped out on faith and we believed in God. We believed the Lord was leading us in this venture, that this is what He wanted us to do. This is the direction that He desired for our family. The Lord has blessed us over the years. We've been at it for 27 years and hope to be at it for many, many more years. But we also believe that the business belongs to God, that God is the owner, that God has entrusted this business to us as stewards. And as stewards, we're going to be held responsible for how we handle the business that He's given us. Also, it allows us to really make a difference in the community. We believe in doing business by the book. And when I say by the book, I mean by the Bible.